Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Basically, today we have a special guest, Gunnar. Hello, Gunnar.
Hi.
Uh,
Thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here.
I was saying, we have Gunnar who will be talking about the A6000 and other stuff related to the recent news that the Apollo team have. I mean, Gunnar is one of the, let's say, creators of the A6000s, but there are many that I leave it up to Gunnar, because when they gave me the list, it was a huge list. But I leave it up to Gunnar to mention all the people involved with this project, with the A6000, basically. So, Gunnar, let me, yeah, there you go.
Hello, how are you? Well, where do we start? Maybe we start.
Yeah.
I'll speak a little bit of me.
Yes.
My name is Gunnar. I'm, so to say, one of the lead engineers of the Apollo team. The Apollo team is since about 15 years very dedicated, working on trying to revive the Amiga. All of our team members are 100% Amiga fans, spending a lot of time on developing hardware to revive the Amiga. We have, since about 15 years, developed a new 68K CPU because, well, the Amiga main CPU is a 68K and it's not produced anymore by Motorola. So if you want to revive the Amiga, you need to also reinvent the CPU, which we did. We also have reinvented the Amiga chipset because, of course, you cannot buy AGA chipsets anymore. So we did what we call Super AGA, which is fully AGA compatible. You can play all the Amiga 500 and Amiga 1200 games, and you have lots of all the features which the original Amiga team wanted to implement, like true color, 16-bit audio, 3D acceleration, all these things which Commodore always wanted to have or wanted to develop and never was able to bring out. We did finish. So yeah, maybe you've seen some of our cards. We have accelerator cards for our company is Apollo Computer and it produces the Apollo products. And there are accelerator cards for various old Amigas, for 500, 1000, 2000, 1200, and so on. We have cards to give them our CPU and a lot of fast memory and graphics and Ethernet and all other nice stuff. And we also have two complete new Amigas. Actually, we had three. I mean, we started the project as the Natami team. And the Natami, maybe some of you recall this, was the native Amiga. It was a remade Amiga, basically, with AGA and an O60 CPU. And at that time, it was clear to us O60 is not the CPU to revive the Amiga because there are no O60s produced anymore. And if you want to revive the Amiga, then relying on refurbished Soviet chips from China is not the best option. We spoke with Motorola at the time if they could reproduce the 060, which they couldn't, and this is what we did. And some of you maybe have seen the V4 standalone, which is a complete new Amiga. And this here now is our newest machine. We call it the A6000. It's a complete new Amiga. You can run any Amiga operating system on it. You can run our operating system, which we call Apollo OS, which is Amiga compatible. But you can also run OS 3, OS 3.9, OS 3.2, 1.3 even. And you can also run Atari OS on it, because maybe you guys know the Atari has the same CPU as the Amiga, the Atari ST. And so, yeah, so these are the options. There's a big team behind this development. Like you said, it's many people. I mean, the case is very, very nice in my opinion. It's let me pull one here. So this is one of these machines, right? And it's maybe like that.
Yeah, this is the black
it's
version.
Like an Amiga 600, right? From the design, from the keyboard, from everything. It's a little bit not so deep like a real 600 because we have no real floppy in it. The reason we have no real floppy is you can't buy floppy drives anymore, and also floppies you cannot buy anymore, so it makes no sense. And because the machine is a little bit smaller, you can carry it around like a laptop. It has about the same size as a typical Mac or PC laptop. And yeah, the case was designed by Manny from the USA. Thank you, Manny. You did really good work. We offer the case in a number of different colors. And the keyboard was designed by Simon. The main board of the machine is complete new main board in it. Was designed by Jens. So these are our three hardware designers. The production manufacturing is done by Arne and Annie. They solder all machines and verify and check them. Yeah. That's our team doing most of the development. There are, of course, lots of software developers involved, like Willem working on the OS. Tim did help a lot testing and also working on the manual. So, I mean, it's a teamwork of a lot more people involved. You will know how this is. You also, if you have a web shop, you need a webmaster and so on and so forth. So it's it's a team effort, and soon you have like 10 people involved working on something like that.
So, do you want that we start with those images that you gave me one by one, and the mushu bushu, or what? I cannot remember. I cannot say the name.
We go back, right? I mean, many people know maybe our products like the accelerators, the Firebird, the Ice Drake, the Manticore card, or our standalone. And for those people which know us since many years, I would like to start with a little summary of what we did in the last few months.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as mentioned, the brain or the heart of our development is 68080 CPU, which is in design an improved 060, right? So 060 was the last CPU Motorola made and the most powerful of the 68K line. And our 080 is basically an improved 060. It's enhanced on 64-bit wide register, 64-bit wide memory access. And one of our main strengths is that we can do more instructions than the O60 could do per cycle. So O60 could, at the very best, do 2 instructions per clock. And we used to have 2 decoders. Instruction decoders are these things which helps the CPU to understand what instruction it needs to do, right? Which reads instructions the programmer wrote and translated to the internal logic of the CPU. And we used to have 2 decoders. Each of them was able to do a pair of instructions. So our peak performance was 4 instructions per cycle, which is good, which is a lot more than the 60 could do, than any Motorola CPU can do. And this year we had the Mushoku project, this cool yellowish dragon on the wall. It's called Mushoku. It's a Babylonian dragon. All our projects have like fantasy creature names. Maybe you guys noticed this already. And the new Mushoku project is our project where we added 3 decoders to the core. And since the Mushoku, we have the power to execute up to 3 times 2 instructions, because each decoder can decode a pair of instructions. So we can do now up to 6 instructions per clock cycle, which is pretty fast. Right? I mean, you recall the O40, the CPU of the Amiga 4000, it could do 1 instruction per cycle. So this is a big improvement and a very exciting project, which I was developing quite some months into this.
Is it okay to show, because we have the block, the diagram of the 68080? Is it okay
Yeah,
to
why
show that?
not? Yeah, if you so I mean, it's maybe a little bit small to see, but it's a block diagram of the CPU, and on the very top you have the instruction cache, which feeds the instructions to the CPU. And our instruction cache can provide 16 bytes per cycle. This is enough for 8 small instructions per clock. And below the instruction cache are the 3 main decoders. Yeah, we call them Anton, Bruno, and Caesar. And each of them can do up to 2 instructions per cycle. And below that, there are the address decoders to calculate addresses of instructions where in memory they operate. Because the 68K can operate directly on memory, which puts it in features much above many other CPUs, like the ARM, the PowerPC, the MIPS. They cannot do this. They are much weaker than the 68K. And below the address decoders is the data cache, and below the data cache are the ALUs, the units to execute the instructions. And in total, we have 11 execution units. So in theory, the core could eat or process, in theory, up to 11 instructions per cycle. But the units are kind of specialized. We have some integer units, some floating point units, a branch unit, and so on and so forth. So if you would have a mix of everything, some floating point, integer, and branch all together, then we could do up to 11 instructions per clock. This is unrealistic, will never happen. And this is why we kind of believe that this 3 decoder with up to 6 instructions is what makes, in my opinion, sense. And yeah, this is our CPU. For those which know other CPUs, this is from power a lot above everything Motorola ever did develop per cycle. So most of our core developers, or the 3 or the 4 core developers, which did all these logic design, we are all ex-IBM or still IBM people. So we used to work on IBM CPUs, those big power CPUs, which cost $10,000 one core to buy. So we have a little bit experience in that regard from work for many decades. And our goal here was to make a really powerful 68K because we believe the Amiga people deserve to have the best possible CPU for them.
There is a question. Houndog is asking, which 3D printer was used to create such a perfect result for the case?
I do top secret. I cannot speak about this.
Okay.
Jesus, man, people are too nosy. We have high quality, pretty big printers, because obviously we print the case in one piece, right? We not glue this together. And I mean, I don't know this person asking, does he come to the Amiga 40 party
No,
into
he does,
this?
but he's the moderator of this channel, and
Okay.
he follows the Amiga scene, and he's
Okay. Well, you will have a machine in 2 weeks, and you can
yeah
show him, and he can feel, he can touch, right?
yeah
Uh, well, let's come to the Amiga 6000 in 5 minutes, right? Let's continue
yeah.
with
Sure. That was
what
just a
happened
question.
last 5 months ago.
Yeah Sure, no problem. So, do you want me to
Oh yeah, please
split?
continue.
Yeah,
Next page,
yeah. So we go to the next image, basically. That's what you're telling me.
please. Dum, dum, dum.
Okay, this one.
It's a small.
No.
Okay. Okay. You're from Malta, right?
Yeah,
You have goats on the island, don't you?
we do.
Do you know this animal?
No, not this one though.
No. Do you have cows on Malta
Yeah,
as well, or?
we do, but I believe you guys has got different types of cows, while here I think we only have one type, from what I know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe. I think in our, I'm from south of Germany, Black Forest, where the seven dwarfs and Snow
Yeah.
White are living. We have some pretty good grass here, I would say. So we have plenty of cows.
Yeah,
And also south of us in
what I
Switzerland are
know,
plenty of cows.
Gunnar, if you permit me, what I know, when I've been to Munich for the first time,
Yeah,
there are cows in the center of Munich. No, there are certain places where there are cows, no statues of cows, if I remember correctly.
statues or living cows.
No, statues in the city center. There are like statues of the cows. No.
It could be that some artist did something there, or the
Yeah.
city did
Okay.
some painted thingy. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, what on Malta? What noise does this animal make?
Moo. That's what you want to.
Moo.
Yes.
Okay, moo. So this is a good. So this is then um, the bridge over to the next topic.
Yeah.
If if you look at a CPU, then originally Motorola's 68,000 is called a CPU and it executes integer instructions.
Mhm.
If you are older than me, and if you worked at the university as a professor in IT or something, then you might know that the 68K is basically a remake of a much older, very successful CPU. There used to be the best computers of the world, those mainframe supercomputers, which the university in Berkeley and all those big universities had, which was super expensive, where a computer cost more than several houses at that time. And they had an instruction set which was super nice to use, which was really nice to program. And there's a company called DEC, which made a condensed version of these CPUs that you could afford. It cost only like as much as 5 sport cars, this computer. This was a DEC. 07 and PDB 07 and a smaller version was PDB 11, which at that time cost like, I don't know, like a Porsche or something today costs. And so this was a very affordable high-end computer when we were very young,
Mm-hmm.
like in the early 70s. And it was like 71 or so. And 79, Motorola made a copycat of this, improved it a little bit, or improved it quite a bit even, and sold it for a price that my parents could afford, or your parents, or you guys. So the 68K instruction set was inspired, or it's a copy, so to say, a remake of the best CPUs that no one of us could buy at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which were only a university or the military of the USA, the government also could afford these machines. And the 68K copied this instruction set and made it available for people not having millions to spend on a computer. And so the 68000 became the CPU running in the Apple and in the Atari ST, in the Amiga 1500, 2000, and so on. And at that time, it was affordable, but extra features like the FPU was an extra chip. The FPU is a floating point unit for, well, scientific numbers, so to
Mm-hmm.
say,
Yeah.
which was not used by normal people at that time, right? You use this for scientific calculations. What is the size of the universe, or how do I travel to the moon or something? Universities did this a lot, and they spent a lot on these computers. For us people, this was not so interesting in the 80s. And also these universities also worked with memory protection, and they had Unix. And for doing memory protection, they had an extra chip which was called the MMU. Or if
Yes.
you
That's
pronounce
why.
it
That's
like
why the
me,
moo.
then it's,
That's why the cow or the moo because for the
yeah.
MMU. Okay.
If you pronounce it like a child, like me, then it's Moo. And the MMU stands for Memory Management
Mhm.
Unit, okay? And it is not used on the Amiga. And it's not used on the Atari ST, and it's not used on the Apple, simply because this was, at that time, a chip costing extra, and requiring a chip which cost a couple $100 would have made the Amiga ridiculously expensive. So no one used those chips when the Amiga or the Atari ST was designed. Obviously, these were home computers. They were meant for people like you and me able to buy them for themselves or for
Sure.
their kids. So making the computer a couple $100 more would have hurt the business a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Universities use these chips all the time. Like maybe you know Unix, System 5, BSD, today Linux, right? This is so basically all the same kind of operating systems, very similar to each other. And they rely on memory protection and on virtual memory and these kind of things. And to have those, you need an MMU.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm deep in my heart very big Amiga fan. I like on the Amiga that with little you could do a lot. I mean, the Amiga is not the world's fastest computer, never was. The Amiga did not have the most memory, never had. I mean, if you compare it with the Commodore 64, it's very fast and has a lot of memory. But there were other machines at the same time, professional machines, also the 68K from SGI, for example,
Yeah.
or from Sun, and so,
Yeah.
which were very expensive. Like, I mean, at the time when the Amiga came out, SGI had the Iris series costing like, I don't know, $20,000 or so. Ridiculously expensive for a private person to buy, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, $20,000 at that time, 40 years ago, this is like, I don't know, $60,000 today or so. who would buy his kid a computer for $60,000?
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it. So these computers use the MMU, and they had virtual memory. They had memory protection and these kind of features. Amiga OS is built completely without this because obviously for the Amiga it was super important that everyone could buy it, right? Like Amiga is
Sure.
the I always say like the Volkswagen Golf or the Peugeot 205 or so. It's a sporty car that everyone can buy. You and me, I mean, you don't need to be a millionaire to buy a Golf, right? There were some computers only big companies could afford and only millionaires could buy. Normal people could not afford to buy a computer costing
Yes, of
more
course.
than a
Yeah.
couple cars.
Yeah.
And we have a special project now. So 80 did have a very special MMU, um, which was incompatible with all the other MMUs of the Motorola. Historically, I have to say, Motorola did build 1, 2, 3, 5. I recall 4 MMUs, maybe there are even more. And one basically already for the 010.
Hmm.
Then there was an external for the 020. So 30 had then one internal. So 40 had one. So 60 had one. Okay, I have 5 now. And
Can I interrupt you a second? Maybe I don't know. I don't want to deviate, but maybe we should give
sure,
a brief description of what an MMU is for
yeah,
because I'm sure there are people that do not know what the
yeah.
MMU is and what it can be used for. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good point. Thank you for the question. Uh, the CPU is the brain which executes instructions. And the CPU also works a lot with data. So what the CPU does, it reads an instruction from memory. Then it needs to understand it. For this is a decoder. Then it sees, okay, this is an addition. Okay, I want to add a number to this register here. So this number is in memory. So it loads from memory this number, it adds it to the register. This instruction is done. It continues with the next instruction. This instruction, it probably again loads from memory. It decodes it. It sees, okay, this is a multiplication. I want to multiply this number with this, maybe even needing to do a memory access. So the CPU does 3 types of memory access: reading instructions, reading data, writing data. And you know, like if you have something like a Doom game, yeah, Doom is painted by the CPU. The CPU writes to memory, and every write it basically does set 1 pixel. So to make the complete game, it needs to do 300,000 writes or so to memory for the screen to paint it. And this each frame, right? 50 times per second, it needs to write 300,000 times in the normal resolution. And an MMU basically allows you to control which areas of memory the CPU or the program is allowed to write. So you can say, let's say I have a couple of megabytes of memory, and a certain program is running, and you load a table into the MMU, telling the MMU which memory segment or which you make like a big checkboard basically out of the memory, and you tell the MMU these sectors are belonging to the program, the others belong to other programs, and the MMU prohibits this program then to read from
Hmm.
other programs' memory or to write from other programs' memory. So if you share a computer, I mean, in the good old days, you had these big machines in the basement of a company, and people had like small terminals, yeah, like small computers like this. They called it at that time terminal. Um, and you were remotely working on the big machine, on the big university machine, for example. and that you cannot spy in the memory of your professor. The memory was prohibited from your programs to read. So you couldn't spy other people's passwords. You couldn't spy the math exam doing tomorrow. You couldn't read other people's files. And also, if your program could not write in other people's memory, you couldn't, and the program crashing could not kill other programs. So this is what an MMU did in the good old days. Having today a computer as a home computer, I always work alone on it, right? And if my wife wants a computer, she shall have another Amiga. She does not need to work at the same time on mine. So this memory I'm not allowed to read there makes for a home computer not so much sense. That a program crashing does not crash every program makes some sense. Yeah, so this is a benefit if, I don't know, I'm often listening to music while I'm programming. So I have sometimes a music player playing or mod player in the background,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes an audiobook on MP3 or so. And at the same time, I'm programming something, maybe in assembler. So if the MP3 player is crashing, that it's not killing the whole system and not killing my text editor in which I'm programming is kind of a nice feature in theory. I'm programming a lot in assembler. If I make a typo there, the chance that I kill the whole system is very high. So
Yeah.
the chance that I kill the system is much higher than the MP3 player is crashing. So for me, this protection personally is not super realistic. But on the Amiga, anyhow, memory protection is really difficult because the Amiga operating system by design does not implement this concept. In Unix, you have basically fenced in a program, like it's jailed in completely, and every other program is jailed in completely. And if one program wants to talk to another program, it cannot do this directly. It always can only talk to the OS. The OS can then carry the data from one program to the other. No programs can talk directly to each other in Unix. Also, if you have, I don't know, data coming from the network device or so, you cannot say, yeah, dear network card, copy me the data directly in my memory. This is not working on Unix. The network card copies it into the kernel space, and the kernel space will, the kernel program will by hand copy the data then to you, the program. And this is done for the kernel always to controlling that the data is basically checked where to copy with the MMU. This makes Unix or Linux pretty robust, stable, and also secure. Like, so if you have Linux in a bank computer or something, it makes it hard for a program to break out and to spy on the system. On the Amiga, the concept is completely different. On the Amiga, every program can talk to the floppy and then say, please copy me a track from the floppy directly in my memory, and the floppy DMA will do this for you. So the strength of the Amiga is the DMA, and every program can use it, right? I can say to the Paula, to the audio chip, here's some samples, play them back, and Paula will just do it. So if I would do this on a university computer running Amiga OS, I could just let the exams be spoken out by Paula, and I could record it and then play it back at home. So it's very easy to break into an Amiga with you can misuse the DMA to copy your data, which is not yours.
Yeah.
So no bank runs an Amiga, I hope, right?
Yeah. No. So,
And if they would, I would like to know which bank.
definitely not.
So our project now, and I try to give some regular news updates, and I always have a cow friend for me doing these updates in my forum posts. So the cow is our mascot for this development. Our development plan is to have an MMU build which is 110% compatible to the O60. All Motorola MMUs were different. No MMU of Motorola was compatible to another one. So they were all incompatible in design. The O40 and O60 are nearly compatible, but all the others were totally strange beasts. And the thing is, for the Amiga, you honestly don't need an MMU so highly super important. You can use an MMU to hunt broken programs. It can help you spy or detect programs that do evil stuff, like a virus or a badly programmed
Yeah.
piece of software which crashes. It can help you find those, which is nice. I mean, if you have installed Amiga and something is unstable and it crashes sometimes, and you can find, okay, this data type here, this is a nasty bitch. If I use this data type in a web browser and download some images, I will display some images. It sometimes does some bad memory access. This makes my system unstable. Finding this, replacing this data type with something which is stable, and you have a stable Amiga again. So this is very helpful. There are also many other operating systems which cannot be used without an MMU at all. There's Linux, there's BSD, plenty other operating systems require an MMU. And because there are people also looking forward to use Linux on the Amiga, we decided to implement an MMU which is 100% software compatible to the O60. So O60 was the best CPU made by Motorola. So we want to be compatible with the last models they made. The O80 is much better than the O60, it's much more advanced. But by being compatible, people can basically take a Linux, which would run on an O60 card today, and use it on our machine. So we have every instruction of the O60 anyway. The O80 is a Uber number, a bigger CPU than the O60.
So the aim of this project of the MMU is basically to be able to run. I don't want to say Linux, but maybe Minix on the Vampire. Is that so? We have POSIX or something like that on the Vampire, or what's the what is this project aiming towards?
Yeah, you can run Linux basically. I mean, I used to have Linux on my Amiga 4000 a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
It was very slow,
I don't.
took forever to install, and looked like shit compared to Amiga OS. And yeah, I work with Linux every day, but I know a lot about the internals of Unix and the internals of Amiga OS. I personally like a lot of the ideas of the Amiga OS, right?
Okay.
Amiga OS can do a lot with much less memory.
The reason why I ask you that question. The reason why I ask you that question is if you are thinking of, I don't know, having your own Linux version for the Vampire or something like that.
No.
No.
We will not make a Linux distribution. But people could download Debian or something like that
Okay.
and could run it on
Sure.
our machines.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there are people in the Atari world. I don't know if many Atari people are right now here logged in. Our machine The O80 is a very fast CPU, the fastest 68K CPU, and the Atari ST came out at the same time as the Amiga, a little bit before the Amiga actually, and many good people all over the world and also in Europe bought it at that time. So I mean, I had friends which were coders on the Commodore 64, and they saw the Atari ST and they bought the ST when it came out because it's at that time the best machine people could buy.
Mhm.
And the Atari ST community is still active, like the Amiga community. They still have good coders. And on the Atari ST, you have today options of operating systems like you have on the Amiga, right? You have the OS3 on the Amiga, but you have also option like Apollo OS or other options. And one of the options on the Atari is Mint, which is like a Unix version
Aha,
basically for the Atari. And this offers also memory protection. So they could immediately use it on the Atari, the memory protection.
understood. Because for the Amiga there was Minix, no? So for the Amiga there was Minix, no?
You had Amix on the Amiga
Minix,
3000?
Minix, no? Minix, no? It was called Minix. If I'm not
I,
mistaken.
um, I don't know. I had on the Amiga 4000, I downloaded the real Linux at that
Oh,
time,
really?
right? As this
Okay.
was an official 68K Linux,
Uh-huh.
and it took forever. It took several days to install. Good old days as a modem.
Uh-huh.
But um, and it was very disappointing. I mean, I had an Amiga with 18 megabytes of memory and graphics card and so, but yeah, compared to Amiga OS, it felt like
Yeah, yeah. I
swimming
know what you're
in
yeah.
marmelade. In
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're trying to say because yes, I passed through that experience myself also back in the days. Not on when I installed Linux on the PC or the first version of Linux, which was version 0.99 of the kernel.
Okay.
It was on 31 floppies, if you remember it. Uh, but yeah, I was disappointed with that compared to what the Amiga could do. So yeah,
Oh yeah, big
yeah,
time.
yeah,
The Amiga OS or the Amiga hardware. The Amiga hardware is not only the CPU, it's also DMA chipset helping the CPU, right? And you you use the CPU basically like a general giving instructions, and the chipset is doing the work for you. And this makes the Amiga highly efficient. And
yeah.
on Unix, this is not
Not
so by design the case because you don't trust the DMA. The CPU needs to basically everything
yeah,
to overdo again. So to be able to have the MMU control every byte that you copy, at the end the CPU needs to touch every byte. And you have in Amiga OS in the foundation of the OS a lot more trust that one program can directly talk to another program, and a program is allowed to give a pointer here, and it wants data coming from this data type, and it wants something compressed, decompressed, an image converted from another program. So programs can send data to each other, and the whole Amiga is based on this concept, and this makes the Amiga so fast and so elegant.
hmm
And it's completely different to other operating systems where this I don't know, talking of programs to programs are regarded like drug smuggling and completely controlled and forbidden. So Linux is more safe, but for a price.
uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Is it the
we just
case?
want to give the option. The people will have the option in the future The Atari people will have the option to run Minix, Mint, with memory protection enabled. Amiga users will have the option to run debuggers, helping them to find broken programs. And people wanting to do Linux development or BSD development will have the option to do this also.
Yeah. One thing, I think we should, because we changed to Unix, should we change the image also that we have on the screen?
Oh yeah,
So
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
this is
and
a Linux penguin. Yeah, the Linux mascot. So this is something our users could then run also on their Amiga, on their Firebird, on the Ice Drake, on the Manticore, or on the A6000.
yeah. Um, Carmelito mentioned, so he also knows about Minix. Minix is an educational Unix and was available on Amiga. The Amiga 3000 had a Unix from CBM. BSD is still maintained by PHX. So this is just information that probably Carmelito knew and he passed on to us.
Excellent. Thank you,
Yeah,
Carmelito.
yeah. Okay. There aren't any more questions, so you can continue.
So, but that again, our MMU is 060 compatible, so to the latest, greatest model Motorola made. I think this is a reasonable approach. I think let's put it the other way. Why is every MMU different from Motorola? Why is so much? Why are they all incompatible to each other? I think this has to do with the historical development of more memory in the systems. When the MMU started, a big machine had a megabyte of memory, and so the idea was, how can I manage 1 megabyte? And soon you had machines having, like, so 60 was aimed to have hundreds of megabytes maybe of memory. And today we have gigabytes of memory. So with different amount of memory, it makes sense to look at different things in a different way. Not many times different now. And you actually need to do it properly, even not one MMU, but several. I mean, the O30 had one MMU. Okay? But like I said, you have the instructions which are loaded from memory, you have the data which is loaded from memory, and you have the data which is written to memory. So a CPU could do 3 memory access. The MMU of the O30 could only do 1 translation of address at the same time. So this was a bottleneck. So O40 had 2 MMUs, one for translating instructions and one translating for data. So it could do 2 translations in parallel. So 60 is copied this design. We are software compatible to both, but we can do 3 translations per cycle. We can do instruction translations, a memory read, and a memory write in parallel. So we are stronger than the 060. But it looks to software like the 060 MMU. And the MMU of the 060 had 64 touch memory pointers to point to pages. This allowed the 060 to work with memory of 250 kilobytes of memory without needing to reload the MMU tables. This was not enough. If you write a demo or a game like Doom and you paint on the screen, 200 kilobytes is not so much. Your screen might be even bigger. So our data MMU is able to keep at the moment 2 megabytes mapped without needing to reload. So we are like 10 times stronger than the 060 MMU because time passes. People have no more memory. You do bigger programs. You do bigger screens. So our MMU also is internally more powerful than what Motorola did, but it looks for the operating system for Linux the same. So it does not matter. Linux would be able to use it right away, but the MMU would just run with more horsepower. So this is the information of stuff we did the last year, basically, or are working now. Our goal to release MMU is end of the year, December. Yeah, New Year's Eve, basically, or Christmas, I don't know. This is our planned time frame for being done so that people can run Atari Mint or some Linux stuff. And now the most exciting stuff. Let's talk about the new Amiga.
Yeah, so shall we? Let me see. There you go. This is the next
This is
image.
Atari.
Because this is the next image that you gave me. Okay, so
Yeah, this is the Atari Mint, you know,
yeah,
that Linux-like with
yeah,
memory protection and so on. So this is what people might. You can run this on the V4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our computers we have reinvented the Amiga chipset, but we also started to reinvent the Atari chipset. So you can run Atari ST games on it. Original Atari ST games, so no emulation. They run natively. They talk directly to the graphic chips, the shifters. They talk directly to the audio chips, the Yamaha. So we have the chips, the original chips of the Atari reinvented, so to say, and included together with our improvement of that we have in Super AGA. So you have the same screen modes of Super AGA, you have the same audio channels of Super AGA. So you can also on these machines on Atari basically run Apollo Invader, well, which talks to the Apollo chipset. And you could play Apollo Invader also on Atari OS.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
the next picture I assume, no?
please,
There you go.
there we go. This is a unicorn. Everything we develop has a crazy fantasy name. We started with a vampire. We had the Firebird, the Ice Drake, the Manticore, the Phoenix,
And now the unicorn.
the Salamander.
Yeah.
We had all those fantasy monsters, fantasy creatures. There's a game which I really like. It's called Archon. It was available for the 8-bit Atari, for the Commodore 64, and also for the Amiga. And it's like a chess game with monsters, fantasy monsters fighting against each other. And all our parts have chess piece names from this Amiga game or old 8-bit Commodore 64 game. And now we have the unicorn. Why unicorn? Because I think unicorns are super rare and unicorns are super special, very positive creatures. And we finally are, in my opinion, at that point where we always wanted to be. We wanted to make the Amiga that Commodore, unfortunately, was not able to produce anymore in the year 2000 because they died, unfortunately. And this is what we think Commodore might have brought out 6 years or so after they died. This is an Amiga of the future that never came. It includes our CPU. It has about 400 times the CPU power of an Amiga 500. So it's pretty fast for running Amiga OS. It has 2 GB of memory. What was it? 2 GB. This is 2,000 megabytes or 2 million kilobytes. This is the maximum amount Amiga OS can handle. The way Amiga OS is written, it cannot today handle more memory. So this is the maximum upgrade you can ever have when running Amiga OS. It has our Super AGA chipset, able to play AGA games, but also able to show true color screens. It has 3D acceleration, something Commodore planned for the late 90s. It has built-in Ethernet. It has built-in on the side. It has a CF plug and an SD card plug. Basically, where the Amiga 600 had the PCMCIA card. Let me show you real quick. So if you look at, here's a white machine, right? And if I show you the side, I don't know if this is visible. You have here on this side two ports. You can plug in there a big SD card or a CF card, and you can use those flash drives as a hard drive. So we are shipping the machines with 128 GB drives, CF drives, pre-installed with our own OS, Apollo OS, which is Amiga OS compatible. So you can run the complete operating system on them. You can go online, browse in the internet right from the start. You can run games from it. You have a video player on it, MP3 player, everything basically. What you need to start do something. There are many text editors on it, programming languages. There are even source codes of demos and small games on it. So you could immediately start using the machine to program a new demo for Amiga or to look how people developed demos on the Amiga. Yeah, it's ready to use, pre-installed. It will come with a mouse and a joypad, power cable, power plug, monitor cable. So everything you need to immediately start using it. It has on the other side 2 DB9 ports. You know, DB9. Let me take this one. It's a black one. I like the black one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the DB9 on the black one very well.
Yeah.
Maybe not. So let me take the white one again. Sorry. So you see the DB9s, right?
Yeah.
You can plug their normal Amiga mouse. You can plug their normal Amiga joystick. You know, Competition Pro, QuickShot, all the good joysticks from the past. You also have 2 USB here, which you can use for mouse or joypad. And here, this mouse here is this opening is for plugging in a SD card, and you can use this SD card to start floppy games from it. So like a GoTech, basically we're halfway in developing the interface for this, so that you have something to select. It's not done yet completely, but you can already boot games from it. And you have on top 3 LEDs. You can't see it here right now. Only the red one is on. The red one shows hard drive and power. Sorry, the red one shows power, and it's like it's a heartbeat, like a xylem from Battlestar Galactica kind of effect. The second one is yellowish and greenish, and this is hard drive access. Compact flash or SD card does not matter. And the third one, the blue one, is floppy access. So if you boot a game from the SD card and it's reading from the floppy. We don't have the crat, 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 crat noise of the old Amiga, but we have the LED showing you that the Amiga does access. So you will see basically every time Amiga DMA does access, the Amiga DMA will talk to the SD card like or the original DMA did talk to the floppy drive. So for an Amiga demo, an Amiga game, it looks like a floppy. It can move the head around. It can read the raw data. So you're not bound to ADFs. You can have raw images even of copy protected games which have long tracks and so basically 2 megabyte images of a copy protected game you can load directly and they will work.
There are two questions, or one of them is not really a question, but it can be a question. One of them is,
sure.
Can the USB port be used for USB storage? I think I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer it. And the other is, it's not really a question. I wish I discovered it earlier. The first batch is gone already. But I think what he needs to know is that there will be more of it.
Yeah. Okay, that's one after the other.
Yes.
We have on the back more ports. Here 2 more USB ports, right? Mm-hmm. Here 2 power plugs. You have 2 options for plugging power, USB-C or micro USB. Here's the HDMI for digital video out, also coming with audio. Here's analog audio. So if you have an old, like I have an old Sony hi-fi audio, you can plug your speakers here. And here's a JTAG port. So if you want to flash a core, you can flash it from the command line, or you can also plug a USB blaster here. Our idea is that everything, what you ever want to do is directly on the outside. You can, if you say, I don't want to run Amiga OS today, I want to run Atari OS, you can remove the CF, plug another CF. You never need to open the case. Normally, you can swap hard drives, you can refresh the machine, everything from the outside. So this is a lessons learned, which we had from the V4. People swapping hard drives or
I can tell you my
V4 images.
I can tell you my V4 here. Yeah, look, it's open.
Yeah, you keep it open, right?
Yeah, it's open.
I do the same. And we learned, okay, it's nicer for the people if they can change stuff without needing to open it. So we learned from this. And to also here mention, I don't know if you see this, the color is maybe not, let me show. Here, you see it here. Here we have an expansion port. Here's the cover not plugged in. And inside you basically have a space where you can have an upgrade card. And the port is exactly the same size as expansion port cover of the Amiga 1200. So you can have a card there with, I don't know, maybe a floppy port to connect an external old floppy drive to the Amiga. Or maybe a MIDI port or something. I'm not promising anything, but I know that some people of our team might have already started working on these. Mm-hmm. Regarding USB, we have 4 external USB ports, 2 on the right-hand side, where the joysticks are, and 2 on the back. So the 2 on the right-hand side are obviously with the idea to have there a mouse, because you can connect there easily. We started work on a new, who knows us, knows that our USB cores were always directly connected to an Amiga port. So we had an USB port directly connected basically to a DP9 port of the Amiga. So you had the option to either plug an Amiga mouse or a USB mouse, and both were basically talking directly to the Amiga registers. The reason for this, and this is, in my opinion, clever, is that Amiga programs do not rely on operating system doing USB for them. Many Amiga programs kill the operating system, and we wanted that these demos and these games work directly, even without operating system doing anything with USB. And this is why we hardwired those ports directly to the ports to make this happen. I just got a note on my computer. I need to plug in power. What? I'm sorry. One second. Let me get your cable real quick. I'm sorry. I hope this works. Thank you for waiting. I'm sorry. So we were always kind of very limited in our USB support with USB sticks and so, because we wanted to ensure that this was the most important for us, that all games and all demos always can use a joypad or the mouse directly without needing a USB stick from the OS. There's a big difference on the Amiga to Windows. Windows, you always have this USB stick running, and a Windows game never kills the OS. Windows is always running in the background. And this is why you always have the mouse working in Diablo or whatever you play on the PC. It's going through the operating system. It's completely different on Amiga. On Amiga, many demos, many games, boom, kill the OS. And if the OS would do the mouse driver, you would not have no mouse no more. And we have a solution to this. We have a hybrid solution. We have what you call a hypervisor. Hypervisor is something like above the operating system. You have this in mainframes. Big computers have this to control many operating systems in parallel. Like if you have like a big IBM machine, for example. And we have the same implemented now. So we have, let's say, an operating system over the operating system that even an Amiga game cannot kill. And there will be a USB stick running even without Amiga operating system being installed. And we are working on this since 5 months now. It's right now in testing, and it looks very promising. The idea will be that every USB device at some point will just work, from USB stick to printer to scanner to 2D painting tablets, everything. And without the OS needing to have drivers for a lot of things. So devices like mouse and joypad will just work magically by our firmware in the background. And we also plan to offer a bundle with 4 joypads and a hub, so that you can connect 4 joypads in parallel to the machine and play multiplayer games. I hope this did answer the question.
Yeah. Houndok, I mean, I don't know. It's not a question, but he said maybe like the Roland MT32 emulation module could be nice to have. So you know that you can have a Roland MT32 emulation station. So maybe you can plug it in to the back of the as a MIDI input to the Amiga. I think this is what he means.
We do have on the expansion port plug a serial interface, which you need to plug to make MIDI. So the idea, one of the design ideas of the machine, is to to have a MIDI out as an upgrade card, a small card. Many Atari people use the Atari as a professional music device to control Yamaha or other synthesizers to make professional studio music. Yeah, many famous DJs did a lot with Cubase and tools like that. So our near-time plan is that you can also do this with this machine. So you will be able to do, I don't know, if you are DJ on Ibiza, you can do your music with this machine. You can also then, of course, connect the Roland, the real Roland. I also have one Roland from the 80s somewhere still. You can, I will test it with it. So I have a genuine Roland, and you can, I should be able to play Monkey Island with Roland music out. That's it. A software Roland, the machine should have enough horsepower to do a software Roland. We do have 16 Amiga audio channels. Each of it can play a CD music file in original CD quality. So we can basically, from the hardware side today, play 16 CD music songs in parallel with the hardware. I have, as a test, already made a version with double the amount of audio channels. So basically playing 32 CD music files in parallel, stereo, hi-fi, high quality, and the hardware can do this. So I made a test core being able to do this, being able to play 32 CD music pieces in parallel. What I tried to say, the machine has very strong audio features and a very fast CPU. I think if someone with a little bit of coding free time looks into Scum VM for Monkey Island or so, it should be pretty easy, I believe, to play all the Roland stuff directly on the machine, because the machine is 100 times more powerful than the Roland hardware was.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see what other images we have after this one.
So yeah, let me, if I might, thank our team again. I mean, this thing is a team effort, right? To be honest, I never had a feeling for what an Amiga is. My first Amiga was an Amiga 1000. My second Amiga was an Amiga 2000. Then I had an Amiga 500.
Now I understand.
I never had in my head a form factor for an Amiga, because all my three Amigas look totally different. And the Amiga 2000 looked like an ugly box. It's really ugly. Right?
So you always had the big boxes of the Amiga. You never had the like the 1200, like the 600, like the 500.
Later.
Yeah.
I started with the 1000, then the 2500, then the 4000, then the 1200, then the 32. I had the big boxes basically first.
Yeah.
And so I now have every model.
Yes, sure.
But for me, the Amiga, I don't know. If you say Ferrari, I have in my head a red car.
Yeah.
If you say Amiga, many people have in their head this shape here.
Yes. That or the 500.
I never had this, because my Amiga was an Amiga 1000. My first one. Yeah?
Yeah, give me a second.
So I personally, but this is just me, worked so long with the Amiga 2000 that in my brain, the Amiga
this is shape. Funny, for me this is the form factor of the Amiga,
Yeah,
because
I like this 600 a lot, I believe Commodore would have made millions of dollars with it if they would have had a little bit more luck. I think the Commodore, that's at least how I recall the story. I mean, everyone has his own memories, but um, I recall I had contacts with some Amiga developers in the old ages. I had friends at Phase5, and I had also contacts with Pedro later at Amiga Inc. times. And I recall the Amiga 600, which was first planned to be a 300, as the Amiga 500 did sell very good. They did have the ECS chipset, which offered a few upgrades to the OCS. And they planned for a smaller form factor. And at that time, there was this invention of surface-mounted stuff that you not put everything through the hole and have to solder it on the other side, but that you basically have this surface mounting, which is an improvement and makes today possible that machines get smaller and also that robots manufacture them very quickly. So everything that we have today, the smartphones, everything is surface mounted. And Commodore had a vision there. They said, okay, this is a new technology. We want to use this new technology to make a smaller Amiga that we are able to produce for lower cost, and we give this saved money to the customer to enable people which are maybe have a slimmer purse to get a smaller form factor Amiga 500 with more features. Yeah, they had the IDE drive option for the 600. They had the PCMCIA upgrade slot where you could plug a network card later. So they had lots of nice options. Yeah, and the 600 could have 2 megabytes of chip memory. So basically, from the idea, it was a wonderful Amiga 500. Yeah, 2 megabytes of chip memory, option to have a hard drive, not a very expensive SCSI hard drive. Yeah, but an IDE drive, which at that time costed a fraction of the SCSI drives. So I see the vision here of Commodore to bring out a machine to the masses. Yeah, not for kids only with rich parents, but also kids where maybe you have many kids in the family and you cannot give every kid such a very expensive gift to Christmas. So they wanted to make the Amiga more affordable, costing much less than the 500. And I think this is a very nice idea. I like this, right? I mean, it's a nice vision, but they had a lot of bad luck. The whole development took longer than they wanted. The whole thing came out years later than they wanted. And it was much more expensive than they hoped to produce it. They wanted to call the thing the Amiga 600 because it should cost less than the 500. But they couldn't do it because they had really bad luck and it came out too late. And I mean, imagine if the Amiga 600 would have come out much earlier, shortly after the 500, with 2 megabytes of memory and the power to have a hard drive in it. It's a killer machine. I mean, they would have, in my opinion, they would have sold many millions of this. But it was just bad luck. I mean, like every horse race, you never know how it ends, and they had a bad start.
When it came out, it had also some issues related to the kickstart, no? Because
that's true.
Yeah, it was always a challenge. It was always a challenge because one could code for the 500, but when you code for the 500, you would not know what would come after it. So if you don't follow the guidance of what Commodore were saying, then there was a big chance that it will not work with new hardware. So now we don't have that problem because we know the hardware that there is out there, no? But back then you would code that you would not know it.
You're absolutely right. I mean, Commodore did have many kickstart versions. I mean, when I got the Amiga 1000, I got this kickstart 1.1.
Yeah.
And then I got then Wonder 2 and later Wonder 3. And but these were already slightly different. It had you had games that did not run with 1.3. Artyom did not run with 1.3. It only worked with 1.2, for example. Um, 1.3 then was the main kickstart, which was sold millions of times with all the Amiga 500s. They improved it a lot. Kickstart 2 is so much better in many ways. I mean, Kickstart 2 and 3 is nearly the same. Yeah. A lot of good ideas or good features that 3 has were already planned into or made into. And so they had lots of good ideas there. Um, so 2 is very close to 3 from the features. But you're absolutely right. Many nasty, ugly coders like me did stuff which they shouldn't do. The Amiga Kickstart or the
Tell me about
OS
that.
was very smart. You ask for address 4. In address 4 is a pointer to the exec base. From there, you get everything. All you need to know is address 4. You do not never need to go directly to the ROM, to the F address where the kickstart is. Over the 4, you can be pointed to there, and it's very clean in design. But some idiots like me knew at which byte in the kickstart was the Topaz font. And they directly use the fucking Topaz font in their demos because they wanted to write bootblock demos which had only 1 kilobyte of memory and they wanted to save every byte. So they directly went
Yeah.
into the 1.3 ROM, taking the font. Very nasty, very ugly, very dirty, and very stupid. I was stupid when I coded when I was young. Um, and others were stupid too. I mean, let's be honest. What I like about the Amiga the most is that it's a computer for the people, right? There were very smart guys with white lab dresses working at the university, which had studied physics and mathematics for 10 years, working on very expensive mainframe computers. And they learned from many years studying how to write clean programs, and they studied all this shit. And then the people like me, which grew up with the Amiga, and I had the luck that my mother won some money at the roulette. She played roulette and won money, and I got an Amiga 1000. So I was very lucky, and I learned a lot coding on the Amiga. And I learned how to crack games because my mother not won every year the money, so
Of course.
I couldn't get games. I have friends who showed me how to crack games, and I learned this, and this inspired my learning and understanding of hardware, understanding of coding. And this is what I really like
I'm
about the Amiga
curious.
so much.
I'm curious. What what
Many people.
what was
Sorry.
your first cracked game? You should remember that. Just curious.
Bionic Commando. And I was very proud on doing a version of a Frontier
Uh-huh.
which could select different screen modes. Because I had a friend who had just a PC monitor and he only could do double scan modes. He
Hmm.
couldn't play PAL. And I
Uh-huh.
made a Frontier version where you could select PAL, NTSC, double PAL, double NTSC, different modes, and you could play the game in every mode, even if you didn't have a PAL monitor. Um, yeah, old times. And this is also where I got my nickname. As a big gun, gun is my first syllable of I'm Gunnar,
Yeah.
my name. And this was his Amiga event, and he had his Amiga, I think it was a 3000 with a silly monitor. And no, it was a 4000. Um, but yeah, he wanted to play the game and he couldn't see it. And at this Amiga party, I made this special version for him. And since then, him and the other guys called me Big Gun. I don't know. Because I
Good
found it
one.
so cool that I, on this night, did this crack and patched the game. When I was young, I was smarter than today. I had more hair. I had like a, like this rock guitar.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
We all had it, I
I looked
think.
like a rock guitar song player
Yeah,
and was smarter than today.
we all had
Yeah,
that thing, I think.
I really like on the Amiga that it was a computer for kids of normal families.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a
sure.
friend, the parents of him, she was a doctor, him was a doctor. Okay. My friend had in his house a swimming pool.
Uh-huh.
I not. My friend had a Neo Geo. I not. Right? He had 100 Neo Geo games. I not. Because I had normal parents. um, I needed to pay for my driving license myself. My parents didn't buy me one because
Sure.
we were just normal, right?
Hmm.
And what I liked about the Atari ST, both, and the Amiga is that both computers were for normal people. So the Mac was not for normal people. You needed to be rich to have a Mac, or you
It
needed to
was
have a
very
company.
expensive back then. Yeah,
Amiga and Atari were for honest working people. Yeah, not you don't need it to be a lawyer or a banker or your parents don't need it to be a lawyer or banker or a doctor. You could have normal people working at the supermarket or
yeah,
working in a I don't
yeah.
know building cars or somewhere at a factory, and they could afford an Amiga 500. They could afford an Atari ST. And what I like about the scene is all these demos, right? All these Amiga demos are written by kids
Yes.
learning coding on the Amiga. Having the I had the hardware reference manual. I had a book about the 68K. I still recall this book cost 80 Deutschmark, which was a lot of money for me at that time.
Yeah, the Dutch ones was a lot. Yeah.
And I was very proud about buying a data backup book also, or like having 3 or so books about the Amiga, which for me at my being, I mean, making money basically was carry a newspaper, right? It's a lot of money at the time, being a young guy,
Sure.
still going to school. And learned coding from these books. Yeah, I didn't, my parents didn't buy me so much in this regard. And I like about the Amiga and the Atari ST that they enabled a lot of people to learn coding, to do creative stuff, to do music, mods, write demos, develop algorithms. And this is what I really like about the Amiga so much, to be honest. I mean, this is a scene is built by Amiga people that you have demos written by kids, yeah, not by university professors which studied informatics.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Shall we show some models of the A6000 that you have
Oh yeah,
pictures?
maybe you can even show some stuff running
Yeah,
on it
yeah,
on a V4.
yeah.
Some demos or so.
Let's see. Will it come up?
I know you do not have this model, but you have the model before.
Yes, I have the V4SA. Still 2 weeks more. Let's see if it. There you go. This is the same one that was shown earlier, but in a normal, on a desk with somebody taking a picture. Not
Yes,
not with
it's a gray
Photoshop,
one.
not with Photoshop.
No Photoshop.
No, nothing.
And
This is the gray one, not the black one, right? This is like the CD32. This one.
yeah, this is like CC22. This is
Yeah,
normal gray.
yeah.
And
And
we printed in two colors. I mean, you have these the Commodore 500. they had these grooves.
Mhm.
Also, the second version of the Commodore 64 had these grooves. Same case, basically, right? Very similar case. I'm just looking if I have a Commodore 64 somewhere here. Um, but it was just in one color, so the grooves were white and white, right? On
Yeah,
the beige kind of cream color on the old Commodore. And we did here now a higher color contrast, which I personally like a lot. I think it looks more sexy.
yeah, yeah. There you go. This is the black one, I believe. Yeah, this is the black one. And here is a story. You can say the story.
Yeah, we have a wall in our building full of different cases, and yeah, we have produced for the Amiga 40. The Amiga 40 is a party for the 40-year birthday of the Amiga, which will be in 2 weeks. Where my friend Prince also has a demo party, right? You will have a show a demo there,
Yeah,
and I hope we have a beer together afterwards.
yeah, that for sure. Yes.
And we have a limited edition 40 machines for the 40-year birthday. We did put them in the shop. We will have every machine inside is signed by the developers. And yeah, so we made these 40 machines and we made more machines as you see here. If you count, this should be 200. And we will have the new batch of PCBs coming this week. And we will on Sunday is my birthday.
Oh,
Oh, next Sunday.
next Sunday
Oh,
before
not
Amiga.
tomorrow, but tomorrow in 8 days.
Yeah, so before
And
1 week before Amiga 40 then.
yeah,
Aha.
and on Monday, so the night after my birthday, we will put another batch of 40 machines in the shop.
Uh-huh.
So we will put together everything, and but we will not ship them before the event because time is too short.
Uh-huh.
We will also have to pack everything for the event.
Yeah,
We
of
will
course.
leave basically the same week, right? And we will bring also a couple of machines to the A40. So I hope to bring 20 machines or so to the A40.
Well, as long as you bring mine, I'm happy.
Yeah, I will bring yours. I will bring. There's a few more people like also nudged me. They want one, and but we will bring machines also for people to you give me cash and you get a machine there,
Yeah.
and we will after the event ship the second batch. So the second batch you can order next Monday. So Monday in 10 days,
Uh-huh.
right? Monday in 9 days. 9 days.
Yeah.
The 13th.
Yeah. 13th of October is when they can order the next batch.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will put the next batch in the shop. We will ship it out after the A40. And when we have shipped out the second batch, I think we'll make a third batch in the shop. Yeah, we'll do it like that.
Yeah.
Because I know that the machine is on high demand, which I understand. I mean, to me, it's a dream Amiga. It has the original Amiga keyboard layout. So if you are a coder and you have in your back memory all the shortcuts that you need for Cygnus Ed or for ASM1 or for Zeka, all these text editors had like copy paste
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
shortcuts, yeah. Then everything, your
Will
muscle memory will have no problem doing all this on this keyboard. It's 100% like the Amiga keyboard. It's original. It looks original. We have repainted all the characters to the last pixel. so they look like on the Amiga keyboard. Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is not PC characters or so, or we the Amiga had some things very yeah, very special, so to say. A little bit different than the PC. And the keyboard is prepared for multi-language. So we let me show you. I don't know if you can see, or maybe you pull up a picture of the nice one. Maybe this is better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you connect this big.
Yeah, of course. Oops.
Okay. You will see a blank key next to the
Yeah, the Amiga has got,
return,
yes, all of them. Yeah,
and you will see a blank key next to the Z
yes.
on the left side. These keys have um, the one next to the Z has a bigger and smaller brackets in the German layout, and the one to the return has the hash and the
Uh-huh.
single tick in the German layout.
Yeah.
So these are used in German and in French for different keys.
Yeah. Yeah, so
And
even
this is
even
a
even the original, I saw the A600, you can see them here and here. Yeah, yeah,
Commodore was smart. They did not make 5 different PCBs for 5 different languages. They made one PCB for the keyboard that you can use in every language. And we did the same. So we copied the exact Commodore layout, and we have designed keycaps also for the other languages, for French, Italiano, Spanish with the upside down question mark, and German and so on. And I do not have the keycaps here. They're still on a Chinese boat traveling to us.
uh-huh.
Um, but we designed them and have produced them, so to say. So I assume we get them around Christmas.
Cool.
And you can remove the keycaps, right? So you could buy a US version today,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can get a language pack and you can make it in French keyboard or a UK keyboard. Now, the UK keyboard is also not like the US one. It has a few small changes.
Yeah.
We have also keys for that.
Somehow all the Amigas that we got here in Malta, they were all American somehow.
Yeah,
Um,
I also had an American 1000.
yeah, so that's very. But the ones that I bought in UK, the ones that I bought, of course, they have a UK keyboard. But the ones that I bought in Malta has got an American keyboard for some reason.
Yeah, I learned coding on the American keyboard, so I have
Yeah,
no problem with
yeah,
that.
yeah. Same here.
And and you see there two Amiga keys, this funny A.
Yes.
Uh, the machine will be shipped with the bad key, right? Our logo. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or and the Amiga key. So you can choose which one to put there. You can remove it and swap.
Uh-huh.
So if you're Amiga fan, Amiga keys. If you Apollo fan, our logo, our bad logo, or you can mix them, or you can, yeah, maybe even do Atari keys for the Atari people.
um, uh, yeah, that's funny to see an Amiga with Atari keys. However, but yeah, I understand it. I understand it.
Maybe you know. Let me. I don't know if you can see this.
Uh-huh. Because the V4 with the latest core does the vampire thing, no? That's the when it boots up. While this one does the unicorn logo. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
every machine now since the 11,000 release has its logo as
Yeah.
picture. So the Manticore has a lion head in flames.
Uh-huh.
The Ice Drake has a blue dragon, and here we have the unicorns.
Cool. Okay, so I can run a demo on the Vampire V4 if you want.
Yeah, please go
So,
ahead.
so let me switch to the Vampire. There you go. Now you're going to see the screen a bit stretched because of the resolution of OBS of the way, but it's still okay. So uh, let's run the cube one. Is a good one, no? There you go.
This is a small demo of Maggie. Maggie's my dog. Maggie is the name given to the 3D acceleration of the Amiga Blitter. So this is done with the Amiga Blitter and with the Amiga's Blitter 3D part, basically. Our chipset has a special upgrade function of the Amiga Blitter able to do texture mapping like a PlayStation 2 or so. And here you see our creatures. Every our machines has a has a bat for the vampire, the firebird, the ice dragon, and the manticore, which is a winged lion, right? So these are all, if you ever played Dungeons and Dragons or Bard's Tale games, and you know all those monsters, and these monsters are our name giving, and there's a unicorn for our machines.
Okay, so shall we see another one?
Oh, please, yeah. How about the music demo?
The music demo. Which one is it?
The Dungeon Dance.
Dungeon. Yeah, the Dungeon Dance one. Yeah. That's a good one. Did I click on it?
The cube basically was on every side of the cube showing like a movie, right? An animation movie of our cards.
There you go.
And this is also a 3D demo. And again, our creatures are here used as characters. You have the vampire and the salamanders. And this demo was done by Manny, our guy in US, and Morten, our guy in Norway, together. So Manny did design the 3D models, and Morten is a godfather of 3D programming. He developed a Maggie library, which is a programming interface to use the hardware. You can code Maggie directly, banging the blitter directly like in the old days. Absolutely no problem. But you can also use the library, and the library is also for people which have not so much mathematical 3D background. Very nice. So you have simple functions to rotate the model or to project the model on the screen. So you do not need to have studied mathematics or being on a level to be able to program Elite. You can with much easier basic type of commands make this cool demo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Manny did the 3D models and the animation of them, and he used AI for this. So if you have a computer and have access to AI, you can, on a Sunday afternoon, make such a model. You can load it in the Amiga. You can use the MIDI library, and you can make this demo. Morten and Manny did this together in one day when we were going to an Amiga event the night before, basically. So this was very quickly done. And this, in my opinion, shows that you can code on Amiga 3D very quickly and can get something cool done in one day.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Amiga 5500 for the follow because I missed that. Okay, so shall we try another one?
And maybe, I don't know, do you have one of the Star Wars thingies?
Star Wars series? Yeah, I have them here because they are hidden with the. Give me a second. Yeah, let me close this. And this.
If you guys know PlayStation, for example, PlayStation 1 did not have floating point, it was only integer. And the quality of PlayStation games was at the time good, but from today's perspective, not so good. I mean, many 3D demos today on the Amiga or Quake also don't look so good. It's okay, but it's not comparable to PlayStation or so. And PlayStation 2 made a big jump in performance and in graphic quality to the PlayStation 1. And typical PlayStation 2 characters, if you play Soul Blade or any game on the PlayStation 2, they have like 1,000 to 2,000 triangles. And this is also the size of our models that we show here, basically. So these models are on the same level, like those dancing salamanders were on the same level as a typical PlayStation 2 character in a PlayStation 2 game. And these models here, I stole them from a PlayStation 3 or PC game, or PlayStation 4. This is Battlefront 2. So this is a model I ripped out from a Battlefront, which is available for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and for the PC. Yeah.
So let me do the other demo then.
But what I try to say here is, you have with Maggie the power to show models that you also have on PC or PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2 games, right? And you can download them from the internet. You can take them out of a game directly if you want. And with Morten's 3D library, you can show them very quickly, very easily with a few lines of code. And Maggie can do Guru shading, true color textures. The texture is your true color. Maggie has support for hardware mid mapping, so you can have the texture in different sizes automatically. And Maggie will pick the matching best matching size automatically. And the textures can be up to 1024 times 1024 true color pixels. So really big textures. Much bigger than the PlayStation 2 could do. So this is more like PlayStation 3 quality in texture mapping. And this is for Amiga, something Amiga chips that could never do, of course, right? You have here bilinear filtering, so 4 texels together are merged to 1 pixel for much higher quality than your typical Amiga 3D demo has. And it's very easy. It's really you do not need to study math to able to do this. This is I don't know, 20 lines of code.
Shall we do another demo?
Yes, please. I mean,
Yeah.
I would like to use 1 second of your time
Yeah,
to
sure.
say thank you very much to Morten. Morten is a professional 3D game developer working for a Japanese company, which I do not want to mention now, with 4 letters. And no, seriously, he was involved in some commercial titles of some very famous games, which many of you might have played. And he really knows his shit. He's a real expert. And yeah, he's by heart a real Amiga fan. And he made something here for us Amiga users, right?
Sure. Yeah.
For people
Definitely.
like you and me, which is maybe not have studied mathematics, which are not geniuses like this David Braben guy or so who wrote Elite on the 8-bit computers.
Yeah.
Many people like us like 3D games, and this Mackie library gives us the power to do Amiga 3D stuff without needing to go to university for several years.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use these existing functions very easily. And we could do something like, I don't know, 3D version of International Karate.
Ah, yeah.
Or a 3D version of Sword of Sodan. Yeah, you could fight with
Yeah.
we could do games like this using this library with very little effort without needing to read many books.
Sure. Yeah. So
And he did really invest months and months of working,
definitely.
programming to make this
Definitely.
happen, to provide Amiga developers here a solution which allows everybody to make a 3D game.
Yeah, definitely. So let's do the one that reminds me of Ridge Racer.
Oh yeah. So this shows that with very low amount of work using the library, you could make something like a racing game, 3D game. And this is, I don't know if you guys can see this over the internet, that this is a higher resolution and more colors than everything before on Amiga. Yeah, so this is not like a 300 pixel, 200 colors. This is like, you can do 600 or 800 resolution here with true color.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes you're seeing the bars of the capture card because probably the capture card is struggling. I've seen this in the past, but yeah.
Well, okay. Maybe you can. Do you have Robin on this machine?
Yes, I do, but it's not optimized for the V4, so it loads. You can hear the sound, but then I cannot play it. It stops.
Okay, you have the big version, the gigabyte version.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
Oh, I see.
So I can load it. I can load it. Not a problem. But
no. But the game looks best if you play it.
Yeah, I know. But I was when it's loading and it makes the sound and then it says welcome to Robin Hood or something like that. It's impressive how it does it. But yes, it doesn't load the graphics because it's not optimized for the 512K version, and I have the 512 megabyte version, sorry, not 512K.
I mean, the game, you can download the game today from Steam for the PC. There it requires a gigahertz machine, right? And plenty of memory. And that you can play such a game now on Amiga is already, in my opinion, a huge effort, a huge achievement. But the game today still needs a lot of memory because you have, I think, about 500 different sprites in the game. and you have them from all different kind of angles. They can turn around and they have all kinds of animations, and they, you know, there's so much graphics in this game that it's really a gigabyte of graphics.
Yeah. So I'm going to show the other demos then. For example, this one, the roto zoom. Yeah, but this one, I mean, I knew I needed to
This is
reset.
from me. Better don't show it; it might crash.
No. It should run. I just should have switched off the vampire first. You see now notice the what it brings me. You see the because it's a V4,
Oh,
you
yes,
get
okay.
the bat.
I think you can show Robin when you come back from the A40.
Oh yes, definitely. Then yes.
What might be nice to show is the Amiga Apollo logo on the top. Do you see this?
This one?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Um, this is a lightning effect. If I don't know, I'm just a stupid guy. To me, this is nothing. But if you are a 3D expert, then you see this is bump mapping. So this is some very special texture effect which no one ever did on Amiga before, because you basically need um, a modern graphics card for this. And Morten shows here that Maggie together with O80 have features that Amiga never had. Yeah, also you see the light reflection
Mm-hmm.
on the texture, and for this is an in this quality was never shown on Amiga before.
Okay.
You know, this is like I don't know.
So
The
so
light is
so basically this
depending
is a
on
flat
the
texture and somehow it's bumped up to show it's like a 3D thing. That's what I'm understanding, that what it is. It's an image that was bumped up basically to create 3D.
yes. If you exactly. Normally you have a texture over a flat surface,
Mm-hmm.
right? You paint
Yeah.
something like a face on a flat surface.
Yeah.
If you have also a third dimension, so the colors will only have a color, the pixels, but also like a third
Depth.
dimension.
Yeah.
Then you have a rough texture, and this rough texture can have a different reflection on the light. So depending on how you shine the light on the rough texture, in real time, this looks different. So this is called like in a bump map. So you have basically a texture on the texture, not only colors, but also a height.
Mm-hmm.
And this can create this effect. And this is pretty complex. I've never seen something like this in any 3D demo on Amiga before.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So pass to the next one. So shall we do the one next to it? The hall. This is the hall, no, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, I'm using the mouse, guys, and moving. Yeah, moving into the and collecting the the logos.
Yeah. Many of you guys, I recall Dungeon Master is a pretty cool game
Yeah.
on the ST and Amiga in the old days. And Morten is working on a new Dungeon Master. And this is basically level 1 of the new Dungeon Master he's working on. And you will see on the A40 the second version of this, which looks awesome. It's impressive with light and shade, like having torches casting light also in the dungeon in real time. As this is a pre-version, this is older. Um, it's the new version that you can see on the A40 will look like, oh, I don't know, 3 times more impressive than this. And this is already for the Amiga. It's fast,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
true
it's
color,
fast. Yeah.
high resolution. You probably don't see this over the internet, but this is very impressive for Amiga.
So thanks to Arkham for the follow.
Yeah. What time is it now?
Uh,
How are we in our time plan?
it's
Should
11
we
o'clock.
give the users or the visitors some time for questions?
Questions. Oh, I missed that because I was playing. uh, we could make. So they saw this, and Vincenzo said we could make Eye of the Beholder in real 3D. And Hound Dog, you can use grayscale for the height and color because Hound Dog understands 3D 3D images, let's say, because he creates these things. You can use grayscale for height and color, one for the image. Use a single color image with one limitation. He knows these things. He's uh, for your info. Hound Dog is participating in a 3D game that is for the PC, and he's been working on it for 2 years or something like that. So yeah,
So I look forward to see some Amiga games from him.
he should. Yes, he should. Hound Dog. So, how can you exit this one now? I don't think you can exit this one. You have to reset the vampire, I think.
Maybe 2 buttons? I don't know.
Ah, yeah. There you go. Continue. Yeah. Yeah. Switch off. That's the thing. So, there is this one too. The
Yeah, let's
dungeon.
try this one.
The dungeon. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I think you have to go with the keyboard.
Let's see. Oh yes. Yeah. Oops.
How do you like it?
Yeah. It's and it's very fast. I can tell you guys, it's
You turn with the mouse.
you
You
turn.
turn,
Ah, yes, you turn with the mouse and then you move
walk with
forward,
the keyboard.
etc. with the keyboard. Okay. Yeah.
And you can also look up and down, so it's
Yeah.
not like so it's
Yeah. Yeah.
fully three-dimensional.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people can see this online. Yeah, it's high resolution, many colors, and it's the pixels are blended, right? It's not so blocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince, do you see it's smooth, right?
Yeah. 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 It's very smooth. Yes.
It's
Yes.
not looking like Doom or so.
No. 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 It's very smooth. You can see and this responsive immediately. So basically, I want
But
to
I
see.
think this shows what features or powers the Amiga has that are unclaimed yet.
Yeah.
So which it's only like a keyhole where you can look through and see what games Commodore could have done in the late 90s if they would have continued the Amiga, right?
Yeah. 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 Definitely. So now I'm going back to the. I look. Now I have a different. I mean, in this room, with a box in the middle or whatever that is. Yeah. And you can see I'm just going around without any issues.
So let's imagine we do a Eye of the Beholder or Dungeon Master game in this quality. I think this would be a nice game.
Yeah. And notice also that it has lighting effects.
Morton has made like a level editor, like an engine for this game.
Yeah.
If anyone here likes to make a game out of this, likes to participate, like design levels, like to, I don't know, for a good game, good levels is needed, right? So if you like to do something like this, talk to Morton. He can give you access to the level editor, and you can make a game out of this for yourself or for the Amiga community.
Nice.
You do not need to be a programmer to make a game out of this. So you have an editor, and you can make something like a Dungeon Master game or a rogue game or so.
Okay, so shall we see one of the other demos?
Sure. Is there a new question? I kind of read. It's too small for me.
No problems actually. In 3D engine or renderer you can use more maps to change how the image react to light. No problems actually in 3D engine or renderer you can. So Hound Dog is saying that basically you can do this, but he's talking from a PC perspective. He said no problems actually in 3D engine or renderer you can use more maps to change how the image react to light. But he's saying this from his experience on PC because he knows these things on PC. However, Alexandra Blender said, is this written in assembly? Um,
The game engine is written in C.
mhm.
Morton's library is written in C. It has parts written in assembler where performance is important. You can use the library in any language. You can use it from E, from assembly, from C. I don't know, maybe even from BASIC.
Yeah.
Also so. So if you want to develop something for Amiga, write a new demo or so, you probably can use every language to access the library. And the level editor for this dungeon thingy here, it's just an editor, yeah. You click it together, you paint it like in T-Paint, probably.
Dockster is saying, could you use E, language E?
Yes, I think he has also examples with E, as far as I know. I'm not an E coder, but I think I saw he has also example code for E.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It comes with source code. So for a working example, so something like the rotating cube,
Yeah.
which you had with all these animations, this is, for example, also included as a source code. So you can, like a coding example, so you can
Yeah. Dockster can
take
also do
some
C.
of these things and learn from them.
Yeah. Yeah. Dockstar, you can also do C or ASM, so might as well. Let's see another one. So I don't remember this one. The Apollo. Um, I think this is what you call it. Um, Vox, no? Vox map? Is it called Vox map?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean these are mostly stuff that Morton did, showing as coding examples what you can do with the Amiga in 3D.
Aha. This is actually a
And
bumped map, like the other one of the Apollo logo, but this is on Terranian, let's say that.
on terrain, yeah,
Yeah.
terrain map. So
Yeah.
so I think this is all stuff we always wanted to do in the 90s and couldn't
Yeah.
because our machines didn't have the power or the capabilities. And I mean, if you recall all those games like Tomb Raider or Sacred or Myth, Soul Blighter, um, all cool games. We could do all these now on Amiga. We have
Sure.
enough
Yeah.
horsepower. We have enough 3D power for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, uh, this one normally, normally works like a charm. There you go. Because before I had the error, I had to reboot.
Yeah, this is I made this, so
Yeah.
sorry. This is just a quick performance test showing you true color, texture, linear interpolated, how many frames you can do. And I see like something like 200 or so on top or so,
Uh,
150.
yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. One 155, 156. Yeah. That limit. Yes.
So it's basically a performance test on true color texture mapping.
Yeah.
And it shows you can do over 100 frames per second. I mean, we are, I don't
Oh,
know, close to 200 or so, I think, on your machine right now, sometimes 150.
150 for sure.
And it shows you have a lot of horsepower or drawing power in the back of your machine. And I don't know. Um, I really liked when the PlayStation came out. I bought a PlayStation 1 just for one game. I wanted to play Soul Blade.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys recall this game or Soul Edge. Yeah, it was like a sword fighting game with different characters with Sumia and Taki and so on. You
Uh,
were kind of a 2D, 3D.
Drum R, thank you for the subscription. And Evil, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated, guys.
And I think we could do these kind of games like Tekken
Yeah.
easily on the Amiga now.
So, okay, again, switch on.
Yeah, I'm just a bad code. The thing crashed
Yeah.
on exit. Which shows you don't need to be a good coder to develop a computer.
We do have a question from Alkama. He said probably it's a stupid question. I don't think so. But is it strictly a new machine or would it be reliable platform to test a program that targets OCS, ECS, AGA, and typically 04060 boards? I mean, it is.
Could you
It
say it
is.
again? I make my speaker louder.
Okay, so he said, is it strictly a new machine or would it be a reliable platform to test a program that targets OCS, ECS, and AGA? Typically 040,
Yeah.
060.
Okay. The machine supports OCS, ECS, AGA. So you can play Gianna Sisters, Bubble Bobble, Lemmings, International Karate. whatever, many hundreds of Amiga games. I mean, you have some games on it also, right? You can, I don't know, load a game.
Yes, and it is an Amiga compatible machine, no? So yeah,
It's 100% compatible.
yeah,
Yeah, you have the original basically chipset. You have the CIAs for interrupts and keyboard and mouse and so. You have the DFF registers. Every Amiga game runs on it basically. Um, that said, not every Amiga game runs on every Amiga. There are games, like we mentioned before, Amiga 500 games that do not work in an Amiga 1200 because they are some way dirty coded or need Kickshot 1.3 or so. Um, so if you run on games with these problems, you also have these problems here. Okay, this is not an old game.
no,
You
this is
maybe
not.
you.
For a moment, I thought it was a different one, but
Okay.
yeah,
This is nice. This is Tomomators. It is cool, but I think our visitor asking the question
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to.
I will show another game.
So you can, yeah. I mean, you can play. I don't know. Aladdin is an AGA game, for example, or Lion King is a typical AGA game for Amiga, or you can play Gianna Sisters, or Battle Chess, or Lemmings, which kind of shows that the Amiga games work. So you have the blitter, you have the copper, you have the audio registers of the Amiga audio chip. We only added to this. We not removed anything. Yeah, the
Uh,
original Amiga audio chip had 4 channels. We right now have 16.
it's this one.
The original 4 and more
Yeah, there you
channels,
go.
which program or run
So,
in
for
the
example,
same.
Arconoid, for example, look.
Yeah, or you can Aladdin is an AGA game, whatever. What you want.
Yeah, whichever. These are all the games that WHD load games that will run on the Vampire and like any other uh, Amiga. Yeah. So now I need to connect the joystick.
I
Is this the story now?
think you played Archon with the mouse.
Uh,
Akanoid, didn't
yes,
you?
Arconoid is with the mouse. Why I'm thinking of the joystick?
I recall this game on my Amiga
Yeah, yeah,
1000.
yeah. But because the V4 is behind it and I'm seeing it on OBS now, so it's not to give my face. Uh,
Okay.
so I
Yeah,
am.
but it's playing itself, so
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
believe it's running, right?
yeah.
We
Exactly.
see it's running.
Yeah. So there are, the games that you normally see for WHD load, you'll see them on the Vampire. You have the same, the iGame or distribution
So
of
you can.
games, okay, that use WHD load. They are here on the Vampire, and you can play them, same as any other game that you played on the standard Amigas, Commodore Amigas, let's say that.
That said, I mean, if you guys know how Amiga works, then you know there are differences between OCS, ECS, and AGA, right? I mean, in OCS, for example, you have certain screen modes, PAL and NTSC. You but your Amiga was fixed, right? You bought a PAL Amiga or you bought an NTSC. You couldn't switch between them. Since ECS you could switch, or AGA could also switch, of course. And with every Amiga game is a little bit different. You do not have, like as on the PC, one fixed screen size. Every Amiga game can say where the screen should end and stop. So Mayonnaise, for example, is I think 220 pixels height, some strange number, and Some are wider, some are less wide on the screen. Every game or every game developer could had full freedom to make the screen size as you wanted. And also you could have a game like 320 times 200 or so, and it could be more to the left or more to the right on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
You could highly program the Amiga. This is totally different to every other machine on the planet. Like the Apple or the PC has a fixed screen, and you could not shift it a pixel left, a pixel right, like the Amiga.
Um,
This also makes some games or demos incompatible.
um,
For example,
yeah.
um, coded some stuff in OCS on the 1000, and when AGA came out, this didn't work. Because I made some, let's say, coding mistakes on the data fetch, and AGA improved or increased the values that they allow you to position your screen, which OCS did not. So, for example, on OCS, your typical data fetches at 38. If you and the next is at 40 hex. If you coded something in between, 39, for example, this was regarded as 38 on OCS. So the low bits were simply ignored. So you were jumping like in kind of eights, right? 30, 38, 40, 48. So these were the DMA slots where your screen were beginning. It's counting DMA slots in the row. And in OCS, you had these 8 jumps. AGA, for example, allowed you to position your screen smoother, so you had finer screen positioning. I wrote some demo, badly written. I don't recall what I wrote. I think 30A, A like 10, or like alpha, right? Not 8, but A. Which OCS on the Amiga 1000 totally ignored. It looked like 38, but I did not write an 8, but an A.
Uh-huh.
On AGA, my screen was totally fucked up. It looked like vomit because it did honor the A, and it did position everything different, and the pixels didn't
Sure.
look correct anymore.
That,
But
that,
I'm not the only one. TriStar and Red Sector did same shit. So these errors could happen. And these games look wrong on AGA or these demos. On the V4, actually, you can, with the joypad, set
select.
the chipset to OCS or AGA mode,
Yeah.
and you can make my old broken demos look correctly by switching the mode.
Yeah. So
That's just for my jobs.
there was a question earlier. What OS we were running? We were running Apollo OS 9.5. However, as you can see here, I can select different OSs. I can even boot in Amiga OS 3.23 if I want to.
Oh yeah, maybe you can do this.
Yeah.
Boot to OS 3 or so.
Yes. So, and
People seeing is believing.
yeah, and as you can see, I'm going to have OS 3.2 on my as my workbench now. Okay, and I can launch the games as before.
So yes, the machine is absolutely compatible with every Amiga OS. You can also, of course, run macOS in Shapeshifter. So macOS 7 or macOS 8 runs both perfectly.
Yeah.
So you can have many nice games, actually. Settler 2 just came out for the Amiga. Settler 2 is available also for the Mac since a long time. You can play it on the Mac and compare to the Amiga version, right? You can run Atari OS on it. So you have options, all options.
So there is Arabian Nights for the CD32. Let's do that. Why not?
Arabian Nights. Oh, I recall this one.
Yeah.
Played this on the 2000, long time ago.
There you go. So
Yeah, it's that
it's
nice music.
yeah.
What the V4 also can. I mean, I used to have the old Commodore monitor, right? And you had these thingies which you can turn. How do you call this? These knobs. And you could make the picture go wider or go
Oh
higher.
yeah.
And you can do the same on the V4. You can, using the joypad, zoom the game and reposition the screen on your modern monitor, which do not have these knobs to turn. So you can play old NTSC games full screen or PAL games full screen. So you could remove the black bars. I don't know if this works with your screen grabber card.
Which one?
You can, with a joypad,
Yeah,
zoom
but I
the
do not
game.
know. I do not know the controls, and I do not know if the capture card. Because remember, I'm passing through the capture card here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
But
it
on a
might.
normal monitor you can do this.
Yeah.
So this is for playing a game. I believe a very nice feature. Well, I wrote this, so I have to believe that it's nice. Um, I think if you play cannon fodder or
Can forward, yeah.
menace or hybrids and you have full screen, every game is a little bit different and has a little bit different bar. But removing those bars is pretty cool, I think.
So yeah. There you go.
And I mean, with this capture card, everything looks on the internet a little bit different than reality. There's
Yes.
no
That's that's
jerkiness,
that's
there's
that's the
no
that's
no
the thing.
scrolling
Yeah.
problems. This is full 50 hertz here. This looks really like the original Amiga 500
Yeah.
or Amiga 2000. If it looks a little bit shitty, this is only because of the
Yeah. If
capturing.
if you if
I
you
also
if you're seeing it with some lag, it's because of the capture card. No,
PC
it's
capture.
yeah. It's definitely that.
I always have the problem if I show a demo, like a 3D demo on YouTube. It looks only half as good on YouTube because the
Yeah.
PC
Yeah.
grabbing card adds all kinds of lag and thingy, which you in reality do not have. It's better in reality.
100% compatible, but if you learn the good instructions for the right CPU, right? Um, I did not understand the question, Alexandra Blender. 100% compatible, but if you learn the good instructions for the right CPU. I mean,
I mean,
normally,
you can maybe understand these questions. Are all CPU instructions supported?
yeah,
Motorola made the 00, the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40, and the 60. There was never a 50. And all instructions of all CPUs are included in the 080. So if you have a program written for the 020, for the Amiga 1200, it will work. There's no instruction missing. Or if you have a program for the 040 using move 16, which is an 014 instruction only, it will also work on the 080. There's no instruction missing. So maybe this was the question.
yeah. Can you access all the original chipset?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yeah, as the games
Yes.
would not, as the games will not play. So definitely there is all the Amiga
There's no
chipset.
emulation here, right? This is
Yes.
not UIE or something. This is
Yeah.
not an emulator. You have a real 68K CPU and you have real Amiga chipset. So this is directly talking to the Amiga chipset, and the chipset is directly giving out to the monitor, so there's nothing in between. The machine has some extra features built in, like there's a deinterlacer built in. Commodore planned, they had a deinterlacer in the Amiga 3000,
3000 it had
you
now.
might
Yeah,
recall.
yeah.
They also planned in the AAA chipset to have per default a deinterlacer in the Amiga chipset. This is called Monica. And we have done the same. We have built basically Monica into the chipset. So yeah, we spied on their to-do list and we did everything they wrote on it. And so yeah, it's the Amiga they wanted to do, but never had the time to finish.
It shows I do not know how to play this game. But anyway.
They had so many nice ideas. Yeah,
Yeah.
they wanted to have youth as a video format, as a direct format to be able to be shown in the Amiga. We have enabled this. You can show direct videos frames. They had ideas for true color, for chunky pixel. We have added those, and they are added as the Amiga designers wanted them to add, as a direct feature of the Amiga chipset, done by Amiga DMA, not done with a PCI graphics card. I had an Amiga 2000 and 4000 later only as a collector, 3000, not at the time. And I had graphic cards in the 2000 and in the 4000. But as much I like those cards, I have to say they were not 100% in the Amiga organism. So the design of the Amiga is that the copper does control everything. You can pull down a screen with the copper because the copper does control the graphics chipset. And you can use the copper to multiplex sprites. You can make a complete background in a game, like you have this tiny little slug, for example. It has this nice background, cave background, done with sprites, and the sprites are done with the copper multiplex. This is because the copper controls everything. But the copper cannot do this with a PCI graphic card. So the copper cannot never talk to the PCI graphic card. It cannot pull down the screen of a PCI graphic card. So everything you add like in those extra cards is not part of the Amiga chipset. And this is a difference to what the Amiga designers wanted to do with the later chipset. All the features like True Color were planned as part of the genuine Amiga chipset. So the copper has full control. You can also pull down true color screens. You can show sprites on two color screens. This is all what the Amiga spirit is, what the vision of the Amiga engineers was. And we have developed this Super AGA like the original Amiga engineers wanted it to be developed. That the copper can control everything. That the copper, that everything is one organism, right? It's working together with DMA. It's not artificial putting an extra PC card into it, which is totally alien to Amiga and incompatible. It's 100% pure Amiga chipset. You guys can hear that I'm an Amiga fan, right?
Yeah. Of course. I don't know. Shall we? Because there aren't any more questions, or I haven't seen. I never got into compatibility, but I did plenty of sprite multiplexing. Davros said, "Is it fair to say you're using the copper like the VTU DMA in the PS2?" That I.
Naja, the copper works like the Amiga copper, right? You have the copper list. You have two copper lists like the original Amiga. You can, with the copper, poke every Amiga chip set register. So you can start the blitter. Our blitter has a 3D expansion. You can also, with the copper, do 3D stuff this way, of course. Our true color registers are also in the DFF range. This means the copper can set up a two color screen. The copper can in it a pip screen. We have pip picture in picture. You can have for example, a game running in a window, or you can have a video running in a window. Maybe you want to show a video, a Riva video. This is a good example of kit, maybe.
You want me to run the Riva video?
Oh yeah, maybe this is a nice example of showing the power of kit.
Okay, now. Because I'm on OS 3.2 now, so I'm not sure if the files for Riva are there.
Ah, okay. In personal, maybe?
Sorry? In person?
Personal?
Uh-huh. Personal.
Personal video?
Wait. It's like,
Do you have personal?
I have to see here. Yes, I do. I do have it. No, archive. Yeah, personal, yeah. And then applications, audio, demos, documents,
Video?
Where is video? I'm not seeing video. I need to let's switch to the Apollo OS. Let's switch to the Apollo.
Yeah, it's a much better OS anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, Apollo OS comes with network stack built in. You can go online and surf right away. Apollo OS, which is AROS based. The AROS guys, as you guys know, when Commodore died, they wanted to continue the development of the OS, so they made a proposal for a replacement of the Amiga OS, basically rewriting the OS from scratch to make it free. Like Linux is a rewrite of Unix to be free, right? It's 100% clone. And AROS is 100% clone of Amiga OS 3. And maybe you guys know MorphOS. MorphOS is also based on AROS.
So there is a from Moonchild. Gunnar, if you look at the improvements of the copper, blitter, sprites, audio, are the team out of ideas now as the A6000 looks feature complete? Nah, no. I already suggested some features to Gunnar actually. What's the plan for the next year?
It's a very good question. I mean, we do have the improved copper. The Amiga copper was 16-bit. So to set a 32-bit pointer, every pointer in the Amiga ships at a 32-bit, right? I mean, a plain pointer is 32-bit, an audio pointer is 32-bit, and you needed two copper instructions to set a pointer. Also to change a color, like on IGA, to set like a true color for a pixel for the background, you needed two copper instructions. This is not the case anymore. You can do this now with a single instruction. So the new copper supports both 16 or 32-bit moves, and you're much more efficient this way, right? You only need half as many copper instructions. The blitter, like you said, we have 64-bit blitter access. Our DMA, even Super AGA DMA, goes up to 256-bit in one DMA transfer. You know, if you recall, the original Amiga 500 did 16-bit. Yeah, this is why many people call the Amiga a 16-bit computer, because the original blitter and the original copper and the original sprite DMA was 16-bit. And we have upgraded this now to 256-bit, so we have much more horsepower. We can do so much more stuff now, which was totally impossible before. And yeah, I mean, my friend here on the other side of the channel, we the other day, we brainstormed about ideas about improving sprites for the Amiga.
Yes.
I think the Amiga sprites are nice. They have some very cool features. You have a sprite channel which can be reused, and you can, like, if you shoot bullets on a spaceship or so, like Galaga or Space Invader, all the bullets that you shoot, you can show them all with one sprite channel, showing many bullets below each other. This is a cool feature. And at the same time, there are limitations. I mean, the Amiga was affordable, right? It didn't cost so much as the Neo Geo. So they did everything with a budget, right? And this is good. I mean, I couldn't have bought an Amiga for $20,000, so right? There was the Amiga was payable by normal people, and there are in some areas limitations. The original Amiga had 8 sprite channels. If you compare this with a typical arcade machine in an arcade hall later, like Street Fighter machine or so from Capcom, or a Ghosts and Goblins original hardware, they had more sprites. The Amiga could compensate this because you had the blitter, so you could use the blitter a lot for putting stuff on screen. You did not need always to use only sprites. You know, you had on the Ghosts and Goblins didn't have a blitter, for example. They had to show every monster, every zombie, every bullet with a sprite. So they had more sprite hardware, but they did not have the blitter. The Amiga is here a mix. You have both sprites and blitter. If you look at the sprites alone, the Amiga sprites are not as strong as a typical arcade game in the late 80s. So 88 or so, the arcade machines were stronger. And Prince, we both spoke about this, right? We spoke about
Yes.
ideas what we could improve. And I think we have good ideas. Super AGA already has some improvements. We have 256 own colors for the sprites. On the Amiga, you always had the problem that the colors were shared for screen and sprites. So if you're on an old Amiga game, you had 32 colors. 16 of those were colors for the sprites. You could show all 32 colors also on the screen, but you could not have 32 own colors. And this is now different. You have the compatibility to the old, but you can switch to a mode where the sprites have 256 own colors and your screen has 256 own colors. And this is much nicer. Every sprite is now able to run on its own in 16 colors. The Amiga could combine 2 sprites to get a 16 color sprite. This is not needed anymore. Every single sprite can have 16 colors on its own. And we were talking about the idea to also increase the number of channels like we did with the audio. You know, the Amiga audio was 4 channels. You could do wonderful modules with 4 channels. I mean, I really like those demo modules. I think Obatsky did very good work with doing the sound tracker. And but more channels, like there was Octamate and Octalyzer, both having 8 channels, right? With software help, the original Amiga developers wanted to add 8 channels to the Amiga because they knew if you make a game and you have 4-channel mod music, it's nice to have 4 extra channels for the sound effects. You mind if every one of us likes probably Deluxe Galaga, right? And Edgar's game is awesome. I love it. Deluxe Galaga is a really nice game. But you do not have at the same time sound effects and music. You can decide, do you want music or do you want sound FX? Right? We know this. The original Amiga engineers wanted for the AAA chipset 8 channels to make it nicer or easier for game or demo coders to show music and sound effects at the same time to give this to the people. We upgraded this to 18 channels 16 channels, sorry. 8 to 16, I wanted to say, to make this even easier. And I did a demo core 2 months ago with 32 channels. So our hardware can even do 32 channels. And I think we could do the same with Sprite. We can do the same on the Amiga Sprite hardware. We could provide not with copper, but directly more channels, maybe 16, maybe 32. And you could reuse these channels again, that you have like bullets or stars, like you have this Amiga star fields, showing like 50 or so stars on the screen, only using one sprite channel by reusing the sprite. This, of course, works again, but we could provide more channels, right? I think we can do, I don't know, 16 channels or 32 channels, each sprite 16 colors, and each channel could show 10 sprites or so. So you could have hundreds of sprites on the screen in many colors. I think I talked too long now.
No, it's fine. There was a question. Let me find it.
But to answer, we are not yet out of ideas.
No, definitely not.
Before we had this video chat, I was working on making Mushushu stronger, adding more instructions per cycle to the CPU, so increasing our CPU power basically for free. So everyone just get an upgrade and gets a stronger CPU. We both, Prince and me, brainstormed about ideas to give the Amiga much more sprite power, so the power of Capcom or Neo Geo, basically. We have MIDI 3D. MIDI is the 3D texture mapping upgrade to the Blitter. And I have in my back of my head, I know how to make MIDI faster. I know I can double this performance of MIDI. So what you saw there with 150 frames or 200 frames on your V4, I know how to make this 400 frames per second.
Also, I think you answered. There was a question related to the sprites, but you answered it, and we were, as you said, we were discussing it.
I thank you for the time. I mean, yeah. I enjoyed it really a lot to see you again, my friend.
Yes,
and I think
thank you for being here.
The questions were also excellent.
Yeah. And anyway, we were at the end of the stream anyway, so it's fine. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. We are coming to the end of the stream. Thank you for being so many. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. Have a lovely whatever remains of this Saturday night, and wish you a lovely Sunday, and see you next week with another stream of mine. So thank you very much, guys.
Let's revive Amiga. Amiga forever, guys.
Yes.
We are all Amiga fans.
Exactly. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.